Mr. Chairman, in 2010, the White House announced the Great Outdoors Initiative, and they went across the United States engaging different outdoor recreation opportunities and stakeholders, trying to figure out how to get people off their couches and enjoy our nation's bounty, our nation's natural resources, much more so than we've seen in regard to recent trends. I totally support the initiative. As a former wilderness instructor and outdoor guide, I appreciate the fact that they're engaging people and trying to get them up, get them in the outdoors. Senator Ayotte, Senator Shaheen, your home state, the presidentials, that traverse is on my wife and I's bucket list. We haven't done it yet, but we'll be there. I've seen pictures and friends, an amazing thing, amazing place. But if you think about what it takes to go there, people go to the stores, they go to the gas stations, they go to the gear shops, they go to the hotels, they go to the restaurants. There's so much involved in that. My wife's family is from Washington State, where I know Senator Cantwell represents. And in Washington State, we go every year. We go enjoy, whether it's Mount Baker that we've climbed and named our daughter after. We go and enjoy the Olympic Peninsula, the Olympics, the Cascades. We enjoy getting in the outdoors. But I want to flip back to Louisiana. We don't have those mountains, and I'd love to have them. If you want to send some, we need them. But we'd love to have those opportunities, but we have a different type of outdoors in Louisiana. Our state's known as a sportsman's paradise, and what that means to us is that we enjoy going out hunting and fishing and enjoying our outdoors, which are very different, very unique, and fantastic. It's a huge part of our culture, our economy, our way of life at home. And what we've seen in recent years that so much contrasts what it was like when I was a child. When I was a child, we used to be able to go out and fish 365 days a year. And it was a family thing. We would all go out with family and friends and extended family. In fact, we do it during holidays. That's what we do at home. And we have some of the best food in the nation as a result of this incredibly productive ecosystem we have in coastal Louisiana. But what's happened in recent years, we went from being able to fish 365 days a year to, in 2014, just 9 days for red snapper and just 2 fish. In 2015, it was just 10 days. Amazing to go from 365 days a year and reducing it down to just 10 or 9. Federal policy has obstructed our access, our opportunity to the great outdoors. Federal policy, on one hand, is conflicting the Great Outdoors Initiative. And it's preventing our ability to enjoy our outdoors the way we like to do it at home in Louisiana. Mr. Chairman, I was a natural resource manager. It's what I did, and I'm a big proponent of sustainable management, and you've got to have good science. And as we've dug into this issue and trying to understand it, we now understand that you've got rookie science. You have science that's insufficient. For red snapper, for example, they're using stock assessments that they don't assess the fisheries in reef areas. The only problem is that red snapper is a reef fish. Of course the stock assessments are showing that they're low volume, low quantity of fish. It's a flawed process. Magnuson-Stevens, the federal law that governs our fisheries, it was named after Senator Stevens, who I used to work for. I assure you, of the time I spent with him, this is not his intent to have federal policy obstruct and impede. It is not his intent to allow for regional solutions, as we've reached in the Gulf, to be obstructed by federal policy. And it would not be his intent to prevent people, from parents, children, and grandchildren, from being able to fish, as federal policy is today. It does today. I'll say it again. We have some of the top restaurants in the United States. It's a huge part of our tourism economy in Louisiana. Foodies come to our state to eat because of the great, bountiful resources we have. We also have the top commercial seafood industry in the continental United States. It's a huge part of our economy. It's a huge part of our culture. And we can't screw that up either. But there was a recent article that was in the Alabama newspaper that, Mr. Chairman, I'd like to ask if you could include this in the record, that lays out the obstructions in federal policy that are preventing our ability to sustainably manage our fisheries and access. The states have proven that their management practices across the board don't result in overfishing. They manage species all over the place in their own waters, and in some cases, Mr. Chairman, the Atlantic striped bass, state-based management, Alaska salmon, state-based management, Dungeness crab on the West Coast, state-based management. We're asking for the same thing, not to take away from commercial or charter or anything else, to get better science, to better manage the species, to provide access and allow my kids and grandkids, they have the same opportunities that I did, that I had when I grew up. Lastly, Mr. Chairman, I just want to thank you for taking on topics like this. You know, since 2009, we have had more small businesses lost in the United States than we've had created. And as I understand from NFIB, that is the first time in recorded history whereby that has occurred. We have had a net loss in small businesses. And I think in many cases, some of these federal decisions and management practices and regulations are having a profound effect, and people aren't looking at the effect on the small businesses like our fishermen that have been pounded in Louisiana by Hurricane Katrina, Rita, Gustav, Ike, and Isaac, pounding their infrastructure, their livelihood, and their way of life. And I appreciate you doing this, and I appreciate the opportunity to testify today.